But there was in that state of my life and state of mind I was in, neither hot nor cold, just going to church because I thought it was something I had to do for my daughter. It was in that state of mind is when Jesus came into my life, and God knew it was time that I got kicked in the seat of the pants, if you will, and that's exactly what he did. I want to tell you about that. It was 1991, October. I was up north at our deer hunting cabin near Cadillac. My brother-in-law and I were up there. We go up there all the time deer hunting. The night was like any other. I went to bed around 10 o'clock, and I was in bed. I was in this half prayer, half thinking state where you pray for a while and you'll think about what you're going to do the next day or something, and you'll come back into prayer. And my prayer life was like that really too. It was non-existent. It was just mechanical. When I was laying there and I saw what looked to be footprints in the snow going by my head like on a newsreel, they were going by. And I thought that was a little strange, but I just kind of took it as you're going into a dream. Well, at closer look, I looked at it, and they seemed to be billowy like clouds, and there was footprints, definite footprints, and they were coming by at a steady pace. And I looked ahead of the footprints because I wanted to speed this up and to see what was making the footprints. And I saw feet, and there was a white garment or a robe flowing as these feet were making these footprints. And in front of it there were no footprints. So I kept looking in the direction of where they were going to see where he was going. And when I looked in that direction, I saw this light coming out of the corner of the ceiling, where the ceiling meets the corner in that bedroom. And it quickly grew. It exploded. It grew into intensity, and it fully engulfed that room. It was like, not like when you turn a light on, it was like that light just came in and took over that room and shoved all the darkness out of it, and it wasn't just light, there was all kinds of things included in this light. It was sort of like music, but I couldn't hear it. There was a feeling, there was an awesome presence. It was everywhere. There was love in that light. The light was bluish white, and it come from a certain spot, and it radiated out, and it moved, and it was just drawing like nothing I've ever had, no experience you can imagine. It was really awesome. I remember thinking at that point that we have a fireplace in our cabin, and before you go to bed you have to leave a window open, or the smoke will can build up when the fire is dying during the night. And if that smoke builds up, that's not good. So we always crack a window before we go to bed, and I thought to myself that I forgot to do that, and I've died, or I was dying. And then I thought that for my wife and my kids are the world to me, and I never thought about them or my life on earth. I was thinking of this as death. This is really cool, because I wanted to be in that light. I didn't have any reservations about going to it. It was warm. It warmed my body. It warmed my face. I could feel it, and there was something about it that you just couldn't turn away from. But I looked at my feet on the bed, and I realized I could see my bed, and I thought, well, I'm not dead, I couldn't figure out. I was trying to rationalize what was happening, and at that point I saw the same feet that I had seen making them footprints in the snow descending from the top of the ceiling. They descended slowly but steadily. They come down, and I seen the robe, and at this point every hair in my body was standing up, and I was electrified. I knew what it was. I wasn't like, I wasn't religious. I didn't know Jesus at all, but I knew in an instant who that was. And it was humbling, to say the least. I watched it come down, and I was just drawn to it. I was just mesmerized by it, and he kept coming down. And it seemed to be, the room where I was in is a small room. There's only a few feet between where I was and the wall, and it looked to be just immeasurable distance. It was like I wasn't even in, I don't even think I was in that room anymore. But he kept coming down, and there was his hands and his shoulders had come down, but I couldn't see his hands. And then I seen his hair, which was, it was thick like rope. It was like a lion's mane almost. It was golden, and it was a different intensity of light. And when I got to the point when I could see his face, I turned away, and that kind of still bothers me. But I didn't feel worthy to look at him. It was so incredible, and I felt dirty and just the way I led my life came before my eyes, and it wasn't pleasant, and I knew it, and I just felt unworthy to look at him. I looked away, and I remember during that time, I'm not sure how much time went by then, but I told him that I loved him, and I asked him to forgive me each 3 times. In any order, I'm not sure, but I remember that's all I said, and I said each 3 times. When I finished saying that, I know this wasn't just a dream, because I had tears and I could feel everything that was going on. And when I said that, something happened where I felt I was just relieved of so much, a whole life's worth of pain, and everything that I've gone through seemed over. I willingly looked back at the light, and I couldn't see his face. It was at the same point when I turned away. I don't know if he'd have revealed his face to me hadn't I turned away or not. But that doesn't matter anymore, because what happened that day was just as awesome. I know I'm going to see his face one day, and I'm going to thank him personally for what he did for me. It was at that point I saw his hands were at his side with his palms facing me. There was no nail holes or nothing like that. I mean, I'm not going to try to dress it up, but his palms were facing me, his hands were down, and it was just like he forgave me for all the stupid things I'd done in my life, and why, I don't know. Why he came to me, I don't know, after I'd done nothing for him. In fact, I went the other way, I've done nothing but hurt what he tried to do for me, and but all that was just taken away, and he just stood there. He didn't say it audibly, but it was just, I love you, and if you come to me, you'll be saved. It was all unspoken, but I knew it. It was just about over at that point, but I noticed that his robe wasn't made of cloth like yours or mine would be. It was part of the light. It was the brightest intensity of the light, and he was separated by different levels of light. It was like he was light, and it was he was part of the light. He was the light. It was alluring. It was just total love, I guess. I don't know more to explain it, but I was just taking it all in, and it vanished the same way it started. It just went back and stopped, and it was dark, and it was cold, I noticed, and everything that I felt stayed with me except for the feeling of warmth from the light, and it was so dark. It was, at first I felt bad because he left me, but then I thought, well, how many people get this experience? And I was so overjoyed, and I heard the cracking of the fire, and I was right back into reality, and it just blew me back on the bed, and I laid there looking at the ceiling, and I couldn't, I thought, wow, why'd he do this for me? And when my prayer life intensified about 100% at that moment, I spent the rest of that night and all that next day praising God, and that was so new to me. I'd go months without mentioning his name.